Afternoon, everyone. We're still Alas, Cripps and Clarke, and each week we take a topical subject and put a bit of a fun spin on it. But there's only so much fun you can have with a world war and a pandemic. So this week we're doing our homage to Dame Vera Lynn, who's played by me, if you haven't guessed, and Sir Winston Churchill, played by Alan. Just in case you hadn't guessed that already either.
So, Dame Vera, how is this going to work exactly? And before you answer that, I do already know the answer, because I've seen the script.
Well, I was rather hoping we could use what we've learnt from our long lives as two historic figures. We've been around a long time, and therefore maybe we could use some of that learning for future generations, Winston, especially as I'm still around and you're not.
Yes, damn fine idea. You do know that I'm often quoted in various seats of learning, and back in 1953 I was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature. Yes, I have written more than Charles Dickens and Shakespeare combined.
That is a fine achievement indeed, Winston. But you didn't have your own song on Pink Floyd's The Wall, did you? And you didn't beat both the Beatles and the Arctic Monkeys to #1 in the album charts when you were 92. I even beat Bob Dylan as the oldest person to have a #1 album. Now, Colonel Tom has got me on the single charts. I'll give him that. I only got to #3 as in my hundreds, but I'm still going. I'm 103. I've still got some time left. Now, talking of the Colonel, my friend, the Colonel, he's been awarded another key thing. Amazing. He's been given the Gold Blue Peter badge. Now, there haven't been that many that have actually been given out. So let me give you a list of some of the famous people that have received a Gold Blue Peter badge. Well, there's David Beckham, J.K. Rowling, the Queen, my friend from a couple of weeks ago, Tom Daley, weird one, David Tennant, Steven Spielberg, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, Ed Sheeran, not sure what he got it for, Madonna, Sir David Attenborough, and Sir Paul McCartney.
I'm still trying to work out what a Pink Floyd is and what an Ed Sheeran is. Anyway, that's enough about you and your famous buddies. I'm going to read a quote from me, because I've got plenty of them, and then you can interpret them in today's terms. As you're the one alive, it's probably best that you do that part.
Okay, Winston, you did always like to talk a lot. I'm more the quiet, reserved type. But I have had 2 This Is Your Life programs done on me because I've been around that long. So what quote are you going to start with?
Okay. It is no use saying we are doing our best. You have to succeed in doing what is necessary.
Yes. Now that reminds me of Yoda. The quote, not your look at the moment. Do or do not, there is no try. As I understand it, recruiters must be doing good activity at the moment. Think about the quality of what they're doing, and are they engaging with the right people?
Another one then. We shape our dwellings, and afterwards our dwellings shape us.
How true this is at the moment. Our homes, our kitchens, our piano rooms even, our bedrooms, they're shaping the way that we work.
It is a mistake. It is a mistake to look too far ahead. The chain of destiny can only be grasped one link at a time.
Exactly. After all, how far ahead are the clients and candidates actually planning at the moment, if they are at all, some of them? If they are, then recruiters need to be asking those right questions.
I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat.
Another classic quote from you there. In other words, give everything you have. You'll be remembered for it. Go easy on the sweating, maybe, though. Now's not the time to sit back and relax and expect your customers to remember you when we've finished this.
Yes. Employ your time in improving yourself by other men's writings, so you shall come easily by what others have laboured hard for.
Or women, Reg. Oh no, that was Monty Python last week. So apparently alas, Cripps and Clarke did some impersonations on Monty Python last week, but now is the time for self-learning, improving through reading and, of course, online training. Gain your knowledge from others who have already toiled and sweated on your behalf.
Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few.
3 letters, NHS.
Yes, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Vera, but whilst I was in New York in 1931, I was hit by a car whilst leaving a taxi. I was looking right instead of left. Could have done with the NHS back then. Another quote from me. Say what you have to say, and the first time you come to a sentence with a grammatical ending, sit down.
Are you listening, Robert Peston? Craft your questions, ask your questions, and then shut up. Recruiters do have a tendency to try and fill every small silence.
Yes. Do not let us speak of darker days. Let us speak rather of sterner days. These are not dark days. These are great days. The greatest days our community has ever lived.
Yes, some might say that actually, yes, these are great days. There is greatness that's going to come out of these days, even if it's just the small fact that we've all forgotten about Brexit.
My most brilliant achievement was my ability to be able to persuade my wife to marry me.
I think you better explain that one, Alan. I mean, Winston.
Well, actually, it's me. On a personal note, I actually proposed to my wife within 4 hours of seeing her many years ago. Admittedly, probably a little bit too eager. Of course, the answer was no. She refused. But then after a few months' persuasion, she did actually come around and made me the luckiest man alive.
So this is Georgina, who you married 34 years ago, and I know as Georgie.
Yes, what a damn lucky woman. Also, another fun fact that I found out about Churchill, he actually proposed to 3 women whilst in his 20s. Obviously, all of his requests were denied. Not sure why. I mean, bit of a looker, wasn't he? Anyway, back to me. I am prepared to meet my maker. Whether my maker is prepared for the ordeal of meeting me is another matter.
This reminds me of gravestones. I've been watching Afterlife this week, and therefore you see on the gravestone our lives are actually represented by a little dash. That's it. So yours would have been 1874-1965. And if you think about it, when we're no longer here, then that's what it represents. So what does your dash represent? For myself, I'm the person that was voted, the person that represented the spirit of the last century the most. I'll take that as my line on my gravestone when I'm ready to meet my maker.
To build may be the slow and laborious task of years. To destroy can be the thoughtless act of a single day.
This is definitely a time for building. Yes, it may be slow to come back to where your business was before, and whatever that form of normality will be, whatever it's going to look like. But remember, a single wrong action, a post on social media that could backfire, everything could be wiped out in a single click.
Yes, Not actually quite sure what a social media is, but let me tell you this. The first known term, or the first use of the term OMG, was in fact in a letter written by my good friend Admiral Lord Fisher, who wrote to me on the 9th of September 1917, and in that letter he used three letters, OMG, and in brackets afterwards he explained that it meant, oh my God. So, back to my quotes. You have enemies. Good. It means that you have stood up for something sometime in your life.
I have been told that in social media terms, to create chatter, shares, engagement, sometimes you have to prod that hornet's nest. There's some people in recruitment that are very good at that. But it is sometimes something that you need to actually believe. It might be controversial, a bit like me in 2009 when I ended up suing the BNP, the British National Party, because they used the White Cliffs of Dover in an anti-immigration album, and I had permission.
The farther back you can look, the farther forward you are likely to see.
Apparently Angela loves a KPI or two and their stats analysis, but just think at the moment where the government is actually building their plans from and producing their plans, yes, from all their own stats and analysis, but also 183 other countries that are all going through this.
Agreed. Planning is key. And a fun fact about me, when I left for the Boer War, I took 60 bottles of booze with me. Yes, my preference being Johnny Walker Red Label. Another good quote from me. If you are going through hell, keep going.
That's the only way through it. If you stop, you're going to stay in hell. People are in all levels of hell at the moment right now, so don't stop. Keep going. Be ready to come out of the other side. So fun fact, when I went to entertain the troops in Burma, I couldn't go across the channel on the short way round the world. There was a little skirmish going on above the channel. So I had to go the other way and around the other side of the USA.
It is a fine thing, to be honest, but it is very important to be right.
People say that honesty is the best policy in recruitment. When giving feedback to a candidate after an interview or telling that client that they're looking for a unicorn or rocking horse poo. So therefore, make sure you're right and have the evidence to back it up.
Never hold discussions with the monkey when the organ grinder is in the room.
Speak to the decision makers and the hiring managers. Don't ignore the monkey. We want the monkey to be our friend, but make sure you ask the question to the decision makers.
Yes. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
Don't let the current challenges beat you. Engage them via email, engage them via WhatsApp, engage them via social media, by Zoom, by Teams, and hopefully face-to-face as well.
Yes, don't let the bastards grind you down. When I travelled on a ship in World War II, I insisted that there was a lifeboat mounted with a machine gun on it so that I could resist capture at all costs. Another one from me. What is adequacy? Adequacy is no standard at all.
That is true. Alan and Angela saw a motivational speaker a few years ago, Humphrey Waters, and he has the phrase, good enough isn't. But don't settle for mediocrity or adequacy. It provides opportunities for others to surpass you. If you stay still, they're going past, and now your good enough isn't anymore. It's now below average.
healthy citizens. Healthy citizens are the greatest asset any country can have.
How apt this is at the moment. The only way to stay healthy is to stay in, adhere to government guidelines. We are the greatest asset. And I've been here before. Another fun fact, actually it's not that fun. When I was 2 years old, I was actually fell ill with diphtheritic croup and I nearly died. I was sent to an isolation unit and I stayed there for 3 months. So I've been there before. We can do this.
Wow. Well, you're not looking too bad on it, old girl. Did you know that I was actually famous? That was Jimmy Savile. I was actually famous for smoking cigars, so much so that I had a Cuban cigar named after me. The Churchill, it has to be 7 inches long and 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Last quote from me. Personally, I'm always ready to learn, although I do not always like being taught.
I think we come across that quite a bit. So back to me, back to Angela. We should always be ready to learn. I'm still wondering why Winston Churchill's cigar's got to be 7 inches and 3/4 of an inch wide. That's another story, I think. Anyway, learning's one thing we can do until we die. I use it all the time. Every day is a learning day. So I'm sure Dame Vera, Lynn and Sir Winston Churchill would agree, but you've got to be open to the learning. I mean, Alan and I, we can't force you into a training room. We can't make you go online to that online session. You have to want to be there. The right attitude is what's really important.
Yeah, and look, if you haven't guessed it by now, we do like to, it's me. We do like to link our sessions to something topical, and I don't think you can get anything greater or more topical than celebrating VE Day, hopefully with a little bit of a laugh. There's lots of people going through their own personal wars right now, but let's just remind you of what the veteran said that we quoted a couple of sessions ago, where he said even in the trenches during the wars in World War I in particular, they used humour to make light of what was a very, very tough situation. So we just hope that our sort of 15, 20 minutes can put a little smile on your face, stop you thinking about all the things that are going through, happening in your life right now. So just having that 20-minute reprise and hopefully a little bit of a giggle at our expense. One more thing from me, Angela.
Yes.
If Vera Lynn was an Eskimo or an Inuit, if you want to be PC, what song would she be famous for?
I know what this is going to be. Well, meet again. Have a wonderful VE Day, everyone. I've got a social distancing street party, it's even called that on the title, social distancing street party in our close tomorrow, so I'm going to be looking forward to that. It's got sort of a ring to it, that.
Yeah, it has. And our street, they're actually, somebody posted around that they're doing afternoon tea on the front lawn. I haven't got a lawn, it's just full of plants, but hopefully I'll be walking around, talking to neighbours, socially distanced, drinking something a little bit stronger than a cup of tea, particularly after having those sponges in my mouth for the last 20 minutes. So stay safe. Stay safe. Stay home. Raise a glass, of course, to Dame Vera and Sir Winston. Yeah.
We're going to leave you with something just for you to listen to that we think that you will like. So let's share this for you.
I shall sign off. Have a great weekend, everybody.
It's Dame Vera Lynn here, and I would like to send my love and best wishes to everyone in the theatre industry. We'll meet again, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do. Till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away.
So won't you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them we won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw us go, we were singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. So will you please say hello to the folks that we know? Tell them we won't be long. We'll meet again. Don't know when, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Silence through, just like you always do. Till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away. So will you please say hello to the folks that we know? Tell them we won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw us go, we were singing this song. Don't know where, and we will all meet again some sunny day.
Ah,
How wonderful
not a joy now.
to sing. Oh, have a lovely VE day, everyone. Yeah, you're right. Doesn't make me tear up. So lovely weekend.
Yeah, bye all. Take care.
Bye-bye.